that's the thing about the Kennedy assassination. You can have your doubts about parts of it, but there's no hard evidence of anyone other than Lee Harvey Oswald.
And one of the controversies swirling around Lee Harvey Oswald concerns the timeline of his movements after the fatal shots. Here are the facts. At 12:30 p.m., shots rang out in Dealey Plaza. Dallas police officer Marion Baker headed immediately to the Texas School Book Depository, parked his motorcycle, and entered the building looking for anyone suspicious. He met the building manager, Roy Truly, and they searched together, racing up the northwest stairs. Then, through this vestibule window, Baker noticed Lee Harvey Oswald in the second-floor lunchroom. Baker acted immediately.
He went into the lunchroom and with gun drawn, and Oswald turns around, and Baker goes up to him with his gun in his belly. And by that time, the manager, Truly, comes in and says, well, he's okay, he works here. So the cop turned and left.
This encounter occurred within 90 seconds after the assassination. Oswald's countenance is critical.
And there wasn't anything about Oswald's demeanor that made him suspicious, as it turns out. He wasn't out of breath, he wasn't, huffing and puffing, he didn't act nervous. He just acted surprised, as anyone would with a gun in their stomach.
There are two possible explanations for this surprising encounter. Number one, it took Oswald less than 90 seconds to leave the sixth-floor sniper's nest and descend 4 floors to the lunchroom without being out of breath. Or number two, implied in Oliver Stone's movie, JFK, Oswald was in the lunchroom the entire time, while someone else killed the president. Unsolved History decided to test which scenario was correct. The 6th floor of the former Texas School Book Depository has been turned into a museum, so we had to find a similar location. An exhaustive search of the warehouse district in downtown Dallas turned up a suitable replacement, built in the same era.
It's amazing how this warehouse looks so similar to the Texas School Book Depository.
The first time I came up and took a look at this whole floor, I really couldn't believe it. It's almost the same dimensions and has the same look as the 6th floor at the Texas School Book Depository.
We plotted our route from photos taken shortly after the assassination. Researcher Dave Perry set up a course that would exactly duplicate the distance Oswald traveled on the 6th floor.
Okay, but in the movie JFK, they show Oswald running. Was he running at any time during this?
Well, that's what our little evaluation is going to find out. We'll find out if Oliver Stone was right. We'll find out if the Warren Commission or the Secret Service was right.
Dave, how does this...
The wooden stairwells, 9 steps each, 2 flights per floor, closely match those in the Texas School Book Depository. After 4 flights of stairs, a doorway opens onto the 2nd floor.
So what we have here is the mock-up of the 2nd floor. And the lunchroom area would be off in this direction.
Right.
This area here would be the vestibule,
okay,
where Marion Baker saw him through the small glass frame, and Oswald was headed away from Baker in the direction of the lunchroom.
You can see in this film made by the Secret Service in 1963 that Officer Baker could have seen Oswald through the window in this vestibule door. Next, we needed to find someone who fit the physical characteristics and conditioning of ex-Marine Lee Harvey Oswald. 23-year-old Richard Black is a fitness instructor. His height, 5'9", just like Lee Harvey Oswald. His weight, 150 pounds, another match for Oswald. Now, we are ready to start the race. Will our Lee Harvey Oswald be able to walk to the 2nd floor lunchroom in less than 90 seconds? Will he be sweating and winded or calm, collected? Unsolved History is about to find out.
Go ahead and get into position right over here.
It is time to walk in Lee Harvey Oswald's footsteps.
Stand by, Dave, to start the
A
timer.
path no one has taken in almost 40 years.
Go.
After a 10-month investigation, the Warren Commission published their findings about the assassination of President Kennedy. They concluded that there had been no conspiracy. Lee Harvey Oswald had acted alone. Researchers began to question their findings. The subsequent debate comes down to one question. Was Lee Harvey Oswald the lone gunman? Or were there other snipers in a grand conspiracy? If one detail, for instance, Oswald's whereabouts immediately after the shooting, can be disputed, then the entire fabric of events may unravel. Only 90 seconds after the last shot was fired, from the 6th floor of the Texas School Book Depository, Dallas police officer Marion Baker saw Oswald through a vestibule window at the building's 2nd floor lunchroom. Oliver Stone and others insist that Oswald would have had to run full speed, stopping to hide his rifle where police would discover it a few minutes later, and then descend 4 flights of stairs to arrive there in time, sweating and out of breath. Unsolved History set out to put that assumption to a test. How fast could a 23-year-old physically fit Oswald arrive at the lunchroom? Our race will begin as the last shot is fired from the 6th floor window.
Over here.
All right, Dave, stand by.
To ensure accuracy, we placed obstacles to duplicate the stacked boxes that would have blocked some of Oswald's path on that afternoon.
I was on Simmons Freeway earlier, and even the freeway was jam-packed with spectators waiting their chance to see the president as he made his way towards the Trade Mart.
Stand by, Dave, to start the timing.
Here we go in 3, 2, 1.
Go.
It appears as though something has happened in the motorcade route. Something, I repeat, has happened in the motorcade route.
Richard's heading down the side of the building.
There's numerous people running up the hill alongside Elm Street, there by the Simmons Freeway.
Making his first turn, coming across the width of the building. The Mannlicher Carcano is down, and Richard is in the stairwell.
Several police officers are rushing up the hill at this time. Stand by just a moment, please. Something has happened in the motorcade route. Stand by, please.
He's on the 2nd floor, he's headed for the vestibule, and he's in. Stop.
So Richard, how you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Are you winded?
No, not really. Heart rate's up a little bit, but that's about it.
You want to know what your time was?
Yeah, hit me.
It was a little over 48 seconds.